Have you ever found yourself arguing with someone who just doesn't get it, no matter how much logic you throw at them? You try to explain, but they twist your words, refuse to listen, or even double down on their nonsense. Frustrating, right? Foolish people exist everywhere, at work, in families, in friend circles, even online. They waste your time, drain your energy, and if you're not careful, they can pull you into their web of ignorance. But here's the truth. Arguing with a fool makes you look like one too. So, how do you deal with foolish people while keeping your peace, your intelligence, and your dignity intact? That's exactly what we'll uncover in this video. Before we dive in, if you're tired of dealing with unnecessary drama and want to stay mentally strong, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. 1. Don't argue. It's a trap. One of the greatest traps you can fall into is trying to reason with someone who refuses to be reasonable. We've all been there. You're in a conversation, and someone says something so absurd that you feel an almost irresistible urge to correct them. You think, if I just explain this properly, they'll finally see the truth. You carefully lay out the facts, break things down logically, and yet nothing changes. In fact, they might double down on their foolishness, twisting your words, throwing unrelated arguments at you, or even getting defensive. Suddenly, you realize you've wasted minutes, maybe even hours of your time on a person who never had any intention of understanding you in the first place, and that's exactly where they wanted you to be. Foolish people don't operate on logic. They operate on emotion, ego, and ignorance. They don't engage in discussions to learn or grow. They engage to win, to frustrate, or simply to feed their own delusions. The more you argue with them, the more they enjoy it, because for them, it's not about seeking the truth. It's about dragging you into the mud. There's an old saying, never wrestle with a pig. You both get dirty, but the pig enjoys it. And that's exactly how foolish people work. They thrive in chaos. They enjoy wasting your energy. They don't care about facts. They care about proving themselves right, even when they're completely wrong. And the moment you step into that argument, you've already lost, because now you're playing their game. So what's the smarter move? Don't play. Instead of debating, just say something neutral like, "You might be right," or "interesting perspective," and walk away. Not sarcastically, not angrily, just calmly and with complete detachment. Let them believe whatever they want. Let them sit in their own ignorance. It's not your job to fix their mindset, and it's definitely not your responsibility to educate someone who refuses to learn, because here's the harsh truth. Some people are committed to being foolish. They don't want to see the truth. They don't want to change. And the more you argue with them, the more you're just giving them what they want: attention, validation for their nonsense, and the satisfaction of dragging you down to their level. But when you refuse to engage, when you walk away without giving them the reaction they crave, you take away their power. And that's how you truly win against a fool, not by defeating them in an argument, but by refusing to step into the battle in the first place. 2. Set boundaries like a fortress. Foolish people are like parasites. They feed off your reactions, your time, and your energy. The more you engage with them, the more they keep coming back, like a mosquito buzzing around your ear that just won't leave. They thrive on attention, and the moment you give them even a fraction of it, they sink their claws in deeper. You might think ignoring them once or twice will make them stop, but that's not enough. Foolish people test limits. They poke, prod, and push to see just how far they can go before you snap. That's why the only way to truly protect yourself is by setting up boundaries so strong that even the most persistent fool can't break through. Think of boundaries as a mental fortress, a protective wall that keeps out unnecessary drama, manipulation, and negativity. Without boundaries, foolish people will drain you dry, taking your patience, your peace of mind, and even your sense of control. But when you enforce strict limits, you take away their power over you. Let's talk about real-life situations where boundaries are necessary. If it's a co-worker who always brings negativity, limit your interactions to what's absolutely necessary. If they start complaining about the boss, the company, or life in general, don't engage. Keep the conversation professional and short. A simple, "I've got a lot on my plate right now, let's focus on work," can shut them down without room for argument. If they keep pushing, politely excuse yourself. Never give foolishness room to grow in your workspace. It will infect your mindset before you know it. If it's a family member, things can get tricky. You might feel obligated to listen to them, even when their words are filled with nonsense, drama, or manipulation. But blood ties don't mean you're required to endure toxicity. If a relative constantly drags you into useless arguments or forces their opinions on you, keep the conversation light and surface level. Avoid deep discussions that invite conflict. If they try to provoke you, respond with a neutral, "I'd rather not get into that," and redirect the conversation. And if they refuse to respect your boundary, limit your time around them. Your peace is more important than forced interactions. If it's an online troll, the solution is simple: block, mute, ignore. Online fools are the worst because they have zero accountability. They hide behind screens, throwing insults and spreading negativity just to get a rise out of people. Don't give them what they want. The moment you engage, they've won. They want your anger, your frustration, your energy. Instead, delete their comments, block their profiles, and move on like they never existed. Starve them of attention, and they'll wither away. Boundaries aren't just about keeping foolish people out. They're about keeping your mental space clean. If you let foolishness in, it will take root, and before you know it, you'll find yourself exhausted, irritated, and constantly on edge. But when you enforce boundaries like an unbreakable firewall, you filter out the nonsense and keep your peace intact. So remember this: you don't owe anyone unlimited access to your mind and energy. Protect yourself, set boundaries, and refuse to let foolish people disrupt your life. Because at the end of the day, your peace of mind is priceless, and no fool should have the power to take it away from you. 3. Use silence as a weapon. In a world where everyone wants to have the last word, silence is the most underused but most devastating weapon you can wield. Foolish people thrive on arguments, drama, and attention. The moment you engage with them, they feel validated. They believe they are important enough to deserve your time and energy, and that's exactly where they want you, trapped in their cycle of nonsense. But here's the truth: you don't have to respond to every foolish statement you hear. In fact, the smartest, strongest, and most composed people understand that silence can be far more powerful than words. Imagine someone throwing a ridiculous accusation at you, expecting you to jump in and defend yourself. Instead, you just pause, look at them, and say nothing. What happens next? They grow uncomfortable. They start fidgeting. They realize they didn't get the reaction they wanted. And in that moment, they lose control. Silence is not weakness. It is absolute dominance. It shows that you are not interested in playing their game. It sends a clear message: you are not worth my energy. And that, right there, is what destroys a fool's power over you. Think about this. When someone says something incredibly foolish, your instinct might be to correct them, to argue, to explain why they're wrong. But does that ever work? Number. They just argue back, twist your words, or act like they won the conversation. But when you respond with nothing, no argument, no frustration, not even a facial expression, you take away their fuel. Here's how you can use silence effectively in different situations. When someone says something ridiculous, don't engage. Just give them a blank stare, pause for a few seconds, and then change the subject. That moment of silence will hit them harder than any argument ever could. They'll wonder if they sounded stupid. They'll question themselves, and most importantly, they'll realize that you are not someone who entertains foolishness. When a fool tries to provoke you, let silence do the talking. Whether they insult you, challenge you, or try to pull you into a pointless debate, pause and say nothing. Let them feel the discomfort of their own words. Let them sit in their own foolishness. And when you finally decide to speak, make it short, sharp, and final. I'm not interested in this conversation, then walk away. The less you react, the more power you hold. Foolish people only win when they get a reaction out of you. The moment you refuse to engage, they lose their grip over you. Think of it like a fire. If you stop giving it oxygen, it dies on its own. And that's exactly what happens when you respond to a fool with silence. The harsh reality is this: fools crave attention. They live for drama. They don't care about facts, logic, or reason. They only care about getting a rise out of you. But when you stay silent, they get nothing. No validation, no reaction, no energy. And without those things, they fade into irrelevance. So, the next time a fool tries to drag you into their world of nonsense, say nothing. Give them the gift of silence, and watch as they lose their power, one empty word at a time. 4. Speak in short, sharp sentences. When dealing with foolish people, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is explaining too much. The more words you use, the more ammunition you give them. They don't listen to understand. They listen to respond, twist, and manipulate. Every extra sentence you say becomes a new opportunity for them to argue, deflect, or pull you deeper into their nonsense. And before you know it, you're stuck in a conversation that goes nowhere, wasting your time and energy on someone who never intended to understand you in the first place. So what's the best strategy? Keep your words short, sharp, and emotionless. Give them as little as possible. Starve them of engagement. If they try to bait you into an argument, don't fall for it. Just drop a cold, direct response and move on. Instead of explaining your point for the 100th time, just say, "That's not how I see it." No further discussion, no justifications, just a firm statement that ends the conversation. It leaves no room for debate. If they keep arguing, don't play their game. Just say, "Let's agree to disagree." This shuts down their need for conflict and makes it clear that you're done with the discussion. If they throw nonsense your way, trying to provoke a reaction, don't engage. Just say, "Noted." That one word is more powerful than an entire argument. It tells them you heard them, but you don't care to respond. It takes all the wind out of their sails. Think about it. Why waste paragraphs when a single sentence can end the conversation? Foolish people love when you go into long explanations because it gives them more ways to manipulate, twist your words, and prolong the argument. But when you keep things short and emotionless, you give them nothing to work with. Imagine a fool is throwing insults at you, trying to get under your skin. If you respond emotionally, they win. If you argue back, they win. But if you just say, "If that's what you think," and walk away, they have nowhere to go. You rob them of the fight they were hoping for. This strategy works because it does two things. It keeps your energy protected. You're not wasting your breath on someone who isn't worth it. It confuses and frustrates the fool. They were expecting a battle, but you gave them nothing. The key is to deliver these responses without emotion. No frustration, no sarcasm, just cold, controlled, and final. Because when you stay unshaken, when you refuse to give them the reaction they crave, you take away all their power. So remember, short sentences, no explanations, no emotions. The less you say, the stronger you remain. 5. Stay calm, stay smarter. If there's one thing foolish people love more than attention, It's provocation. They want to see you react. They want to pull you into their world of chaos and nonsense. They thrive on making you lose control because the moment you get angry, you lose. They know that when emotions take over, logic disappears, and that's when they gain the upper hand. But here's the truth. The calmest person in the room is always the smartest. The person who refuses to be shaken, refuses to be dragged into pointless arguments, and refuses to waste energy on stupidity is the one who truly holds the power. And that's the position you need to take when dealing with foolish people: absolute, unshakable control. No matter how absurd, offensive, or ridiculous their words are, you must stay in control of yourself. When a fool tries to provoke you, pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, I don't have to attend every argument I'm invited to, because that's exactly what it is, an invitation. An invitation into their world of ignorance, their petty fights, their unnecessary drama, and you have the choice to decline. Let's be real, staying calm isn't always easy. Some fools say things so outrageous that every part of you wants to clap back, call them out, and destroy them with facts. But ask yourself, will it change anything? Will they suddenly see reason? The answer is no. Engaging will only pull you deeper into the mess, wasting your time and draining your energy. So instead, practice emotional detachment. When a fool insults you, don't react, just smile. Nothing frustrates a foolish person more than a calm, unaffected response. They expect anger. They expect a fight. When they don't get it, they become powerless. When someone says something absurd, don't argue. Just nod and move on. You don't owe them a debate. You don't have to correct them. Just let them believe whatever they want and walk away with your peace intact. If they push harder, trying to get under your skin, just say calmly, I understand your perspective, and leave it at that. No need for explanations, no need for further discussion. End it on your terms, because here's what most people don't realize. The fool isn't the one who provokes. The fool is the one who takes the bait. The moment you get angry, yell, or let them control your emotions, you've given them exactly what they wanted. But when you remain calm, composed, and unshaken, you make it clear that they have no power over you. So the next time you find yourself dealing with a foolish person, remember this: the strongest response is no reaction. The smartest person is the one who stays calm, and the real victory is walking away with your peace untouched. As we conclude, foolish people exist everywhere, but that doesn't mean they have to affect your peace of mind. The smarter you are, the less you argue. The stronger you are, the less you react. So, the next time you find yourself dealing with a foolish person, stay calm, set boundaries, and don't give them the reaction they want. That's how you win. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful insights, and share this with someone who needs it. Thanks for watching.